Hey guys, welcome back to the channel if you're one of the 11 people who already subscribe, and if not, welcome to my channel. I thought I would make a short video outlining some of the things that really helped me in Creatura once I understood them. Some things that are quite simple but, in my opinion, easy to miss. This isn't meant to be a full guide. This is probably best for someone who's very new to intermediate at the game. If you've been playing for a while, you might not find anything here that is news to you. There's definitely a learning curve to this game, and believe me, I understand that and I agree, but once you're past that initial bump, it becomes a very relaxing game to play, and you can be a lot more free with the decorations and the ways that you take each vivarium. They can really start to be distinct from one another. Don't stress too much about this part because for the most part you're going to be able to change all these things later. Your terrain shape you'll be able to further customize. You can also change your water color, your water opacity, your algae color, clover color, those can all be changed. The only thing I think you cannot change later is your sponge color. So if you're going for a super themed tank, like you definitely want an all purple tank or a tank with orange accents or something like that, make sure you choose that sponge color here. When you go to start a vivarium, you can do free play or you can do the scenario or the tutorial. I strongly recommend doing the tutorial in full before or after you watch this video. So within your vivarium, you'll see on the left-hand side of your screen your animal families. One thing that really stumped me at first was this little red icon. I wasn't sure if they were unhappy or too cold or too hot. It means they're homeless. So you have to purchase a home for them from the shop. The cheapest options for homes are the cheap rocks that are 100 credits and the maple driftwood, which is 500 credits. You can customize those, you can make them bigger at no extra cost. So those can really be helpful for aesthetic on a budget. Why are most of the rocks so expensive? So when you open up the genetics tab, you'll have your almanac and you'll have Eddie Gene. The almanac is pretty self-explanatory. You can document each species that you discover. You can use the names provided in the game, or you can create your own names. Shrimp or crusty boys to me. But don't forget to record each time you do find a new species because that is how you get XP and level. Eddie Gene is a little bit more complicated. Gene mapping for plants and animals generally works the same, so we're just going to start with an animal. I think it's a little bit more fun. You can tell which animal you have selected by which one is glowing in their family. Right now we chose this one and we're sequencing his DNA. You'll get faster at this as you level up. Let's name him so we don't get confused. This is going to be Kevin. Sequence Kevin's DNA and you'll see it up here in the top portion of Eddie Gene. You can then press the triangle on the top part of the folder directly below that DNA sequence and you'll now have Kevin's entire genome stored. You can then safely deselect Kevin and choose another. The new animal you have selected now has their genome displayed on top. Click the larger portion of the folder button to bring Kevin's genome down from before. Now we can compare the two. If there are any genetic differences between Kevin and our second genome, they'll be highlighted. So scroll the marker along until you see a highlighted difference. Since I already have this code on discovered, it ruins the surprise, but we're just going to pretend we don't see that and go through the process of discovering it. Usually when I discover a new difference, I mark it in red to tell myself I don't know what it does. It's arbitrary and you can do whatever makes sense to you. That just helps me. I will then look at the two specimens physically and decide if I think I can see any differences. In this case, I'm going to make a note that their tails or maybe their midsection colors are different. So looking through the genome, I see two highlighted differences, so we could definitely be right about that. To test whether we're correct and to see which is which, we'll have to do some experimenting. One simple way you can help tell is to change the top specimen's codon to match the lower and see what changes, if anything. In this case, we're going to change this GC to an AT. And its mid-color changed. So you now know that this is the piece that codes for midsection color. Name it something that makes sense to you. I usually would name this midsection color and mark it as green to tell me that I know what it does. You'd repeat the same process with the second difference. Always have backup specimens ready in case yours die in experimentation. You can create more by dragging a specimen to a new family. These new specimens won't all be identical, so if you need a specific genome, I strongly suggest storing that one in a folder so you can refer back to it when you probably kill it. Don't forget to document your creatures in the almanac if they're new. Among the codons in each organism, there are some that are vital and can't be changed, so changing codons at random might tell you new things, or it might just kill all of your specimens. These vital codons just work on keeping the organism alive, so changing them will just result in death. Truth be told, there's a chance your specimen will die even if you change their correct codon to a possible match. I'll link a video that helped me get started and goes a little bit further into how to get the specific phenotypes that you want, but until level 15, there's a pretty large likelihood that your attempted mutation will result in a random mutation in the organism, which can be a vital codon, and kill your specimen. This can really mislead you at first when you're trying to pinpoint a specific gene, but if you account for this, it can also help you. At level 15, you'll receive that skill that reduces the chance that a vital codon will be affected by this, and at level 25, you get a third skill that I believe removes this chance altogether. It's also worth noting that among the codons you can safely alter, they do not all code for phenotype or physical characteristics. Some are going to code for things like pesticide resistance or reproductive features that you can't see with your naked eye. These are a lot harder to verify, and I'm honestly not very good at it. Remember that there isn't a right or wrong name for a gene. I might call it white or black balance, and you may call it tint or highlight. As long as you understand your own naming method, it should be fine. When naming codons, I recommend being more detailed than you think you need to. Color becomes a little bit more confusing when you realize you have 3 or 4 different codons for color on different parts of the organism for soft tissue, hard tissue, fruit color. You'll thank yourself later if you just start out more specific than you think you need to be. I think that about wraps up this disjointed collection of tips that I had about the game. If you have any other questions, you can leave those in the comments below, and I will try my best to answer you or to find the answer for you if I don't know the answer. I would greatly appreciate any thumbs up, thumbs downs, comments, concerns, recipes you guys would like to leave for me. I am also primarily a Twitch streamer. That's where I produce most of my content, so that'll be linked below if you'd like to follow me over there. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.